Hi, this is Lee. This is Politics Girl. And today we're talking the importance of the Supreme Court, Part 2. Let me start with the basics. The federal government is divided into three distinct parts. The executive, which is the president and his cabinet, which is currently controlled by the Democratic Party. The legislative, also called Congress, which is the law-making bodies of the House and the Senate, which is currently controlled by the Republican Party. And the judicial, which is the Supreme Court. 9 justices chosen to interpret the Constitution on behalf of the American people. They're the highest court in the land and the last word of the law. The Founding Fathers set up this three-tiered system with the goal of no one branch ever having too much power over the other. The Supreme Court is also the last stop on the appeals train. You take someone to court, you feel that outcome was unfair, you appeal it. You feel that trial was unfair, and you appeal it. If you can prove it, you can appeal your case all the way up to the Supreme Court. But once their decision is made, that decision is final. The Supreme Court's job is gigantic, and that's why having 9 people on it is key, because you have to have that tiebreaker vote. Yes, it could go 6-3 or 2-7, and it has been known to be unanimous, but the country's changed, and it's become much more divided, socially, economically, spiritually, and the Supreme Court decisions have been splitting more and more along ideological lines, with the 5 Republican judges having a majority sway over the 4 Democratic ones. But now that Scalia's gone, the court is split 4-4. And without that tie-breaking vote, a lot of important pending cases are not going to have verdicts. So we should just get a 9th justice. It seems pretty obvious, right? Well, unfortunately, it's not obvious. It's political. Section 2, Article 2 of the Constitution says it's the president's job to appoint a suitable replacement to the Supreme Court as soon as possible. It also says it's the Senate's job to assist and approve said appointment. The problem is, our Senate has already said they won't do it. And that's why this whole thing is shaping up to be such a big, fat, hairy deal. Hours after Scalia's body was discovered, the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, released a statement saying, this is in quotes, "The American people should have a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice. Therefore, this vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president." While the fear of replacing someone like Scalia, who was arguably the most conservative judge on the court, with someone more progressive is understandably unpalatable to the conservative Congress, it is unfortunately their job to replace him. The argument that it's standard practice to not confirm a Supreme Court justice in an election year doesn't really hold water because Reagan's appointed Justice Kennedy was confirmed in 1988, so that kind of negates that argument. It's been said that we should hold the vote so that the American voter can have their say. But unless we want to start arguing that the 4th year of a president's term is nullified, the American voter did have their say when they re-elected Obama 3 years ago. We can't just stop an elected president from doing his job simply because we don't like what he stands for. And the Senate can't just stop doing its job because it's not getting its way. Government won't work that way. It's like playing that horrible game of chutes and ladders. You know, where you get all the way up to the top and then you hit a slide and it takes you all the way back down to the bottom. It's a bad roll and it sucks for you. But you can't just flip the board, you know? Refusing a candidate based on merit is something the American people should get behind. But refusing any and all candidates, no matter their history or record or ability before they're even named, is a misuse of power no matter what party you're standing behind. Even letting the time run out and taking your chances with the next commander-in-chief is something. But giving the middle finger so publicly to the system and to your paid position within the system is to honestly give the middle finger to American democracy. And that's something no voter should get behind. Obama will appoint someone. It's his job. The question is, will he appoint someone knowing that person will never be approved? A sacrificial lamb there to run out the clock. Or will he appoint a number of distasteful liberal choices only to present a moderate choice as the compromise, and then the Republicans would look obstructionist to deny it? Or will he appoint someone who is so universally liked, someone who's already been accepted by both sides, that it would be impossible to reject that person without losing face? Only time will tell, but it will be a fascinating battle to watch. And it's a battle that will, no doubt, affect us all for generations. This presidential election isn't about a person. It's about the future values and face of America. So, if it matters to you which way those values lean, you should be registering to vote. Like now. Politics Girl! It's it's a wrap. Subscribe to the channel, wherever the button is.